Dear friends, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. This Shabbat we will be reading the Torah portion of Tetzaveh. This is the second portion of the 5 that talk about the great mitzvah of the Mishkan, building the tabernacle in the desert and all future temples that we had in various places, and then finally the 2 in Jerusalem, and God willing, the third one very soon with the coming of Mashiach. And in the temple, there were 2 altars. An altar is a place through which the Jews got atonement. One altar was outside in the courtyard, a big altar which was very busy all the time for sacrifices, communal sacrifices that were brought on behalf of everyone daily, Shabbat, holidays, and then individual sacrifices. And anyone who had done various types of sins, people wanted to give thanks to God, show gratitude, and many other occasions, holidays, etc. We brought our personal sacrifices to God. But the most important part of the altar was about bringing atonement to the Jewish people, bringing atonement to individuals. Then you had the inner altar, a gold altar, small, inside the structure of what we call the holy. And on there was offered the Torah, the incense, made up of 11 herbs, a very fine process. When they lit it in a pan, the smoke went up in a straight line, didn't veer off even for 1 inch, 1 millimeter. And actually on Kippur, this was the most important part of the service, is the incense. Then it happened inside the Holy of Holies on top of the ark, but regularly it happened in this special altar. And the question is, why the need for 2 altars? Everything else we had only one of. Why have 2 altars? Atonement can be happening through one place, could be achieved through one place. Why the need for 2 altars? So the first altar was mostly food, was animals, birds, things made with flour. Those are the items that were brought on the altar. Some were totally served on the altar. Some part of it was eaten by the priests, by the owners. The inner altar was not about food. It was a good smell. Nothing was eaten. It was herbs, and it created a very good scent, a very good smell. And here there's a very important message to us about when we talk about atonement, when we talk about connection to God, when we talk about making our lives better, making our lives more productive, living our lives more towards what they're supposed to be. There are 2 areas in our life we have to touch. One is the very external, existence itself. Food is something that we know that we need to live. It affects parts of my body, every part of my body that I'm in contact with, that I touch. If I don't eat, something is missing in my life. I can't operate normally. You don't eat for a few days, you can't even live. And then there is smell. Smell is a very refined sense. It doesn't fill you up. It doesn't keep you going, but it touches something very deep. And sometimes when a person loses consciousness, you give them a strong smell and all of a sudden it wakes them up. It touches something very deep. And most of us in our lives are so preoccupied dealing with our most external parts of our life, existence, survival, food, shelter, basic necessities that we need in life, that we don't put any time to the more refined things, intellectually understanding, creating a space for some spirituality, feeling something deeper, connecting with purpose, motivation, all the things that we seem to get along fine in our daily lives, even if we don't have these. But the truth is that without these, it's just a mere animalistic, external existence. And in both of those areas, we have to work on ourselves. Obviously, we have to make sure that our physical, material lives are run properly in the right discipline, according to the ways of the Torah, to be healthy and to be able to keep up our body and our energy and all those things that are so important. But at the same time, we must address all the time the deeper part of ourselves. Because most of the things that happen in our life is the deeper part of ourselves that can either be the cause when it's not addressed or the answer when it will be addressed. And that's why Hashem gave us Shabbos. 6 days a week, we work very hard. We're busy with the externalities of life. On Shabbat, we take a step back and we say, why? What am I doing it for? What's the purpose? We have to get in contact with both of them. That's why there were two altars. And the inner part of ourselves was done by the Kohen, because sometimes, or usually, we need a mentor. We need someone to help us along that path, or to help us start along that path, because it's not going to come natural for most people. It's something we have to dig, and we have to find, and we have to accustom ourselves. But once you let that wellspring flow, you can't run away from it, because that's the raison d'etre of life. That's what takes you to a new level. That's what gives you the motivation to live deeper. And that's what gives you the motivation to live with a purpose and a higher purpose, which goes way beyond your little world, but affecting so much more in yourself and everyone else. So I want to wish you success in both of these areas. Shabbat Shalom. We love you all. May God bless you all. Candlelighting time in Montreal this week, 4:57 p.m.